All right, today we start our session, even though we're a little bit off season. We're doing a Halloween special for the Star Trek Navajo adventure game. With this, we are going to start the crew of the Navajo on a planet's surface, and I will let the captain give his log real quick.
Alright, Captain's Log, Stardate 48471.1, Captain David Perone reporting. USS Navajo has entered orbit around a desolate planet in the Ravothar System. Our mission is to collect cultural and archaeological data from the remnants of an ancient civilization believed to have perished millennia ago. Time, however, is not on our side. The planet is on a doomed collision course with a rogue world that has recently drifted into the system. We must proceed with haste, as the planet's impending destruction looms closer with each pending hour. End log.
The planet's surface stretched out. Sorry, I was turning this on. The planet's surface stretched out like a forgotten graveyard, bathed in the unsettling light cast by the massive rogue planet looming in the sky. Its surface fractured and chaotic as it approaches. Jagged cliffs rose like sentinels, casting long, twisted shadows over the desolate landscape, trembling under the gravitational pull. The wind howled through the rains of an ancient civilization, carrying with it the faint scent of decay, mingled with dust and forgotten age. Time had worn through the once great structures to crumbling stone and shattered remnants. Their intricate carving now barely dissembled under the layers of grit and sand, as the sound quaked with each passing moment, itching ever closer to catastrophe. In the distance, a massive obelisk pierced the sky, its darkened surface marauded by cracks that glowed faintly, pulsing at each time the planet's unsettling tremors. Sounding it were rows of monolithic statues. Their hollowed eyes stared blankly into the endless horizon, as if waiting for something long overdue. An unsettling stillness hangs in the air, thick with the weight of something unseen, something waiting beneath the surface. The ground was uneven, littered with fragments of broken pillars and remnants of what had been temples or altars. Overhead, dark clouds swirled ominously, their motion slowed but deliberate, casting intermittent flickers of shadow across the ruins. The light was dim, barely enough to illuminate the harsh edges of the landscape, and yet, from time to time, strange glimmers danced across the stone, like the remnants of something forgotten power stirring to life. Farther from the ruins, deep fissures cracked the earth, glowing faintly with an ethereal energy that seemed to pulse in rhythm with the planet itself. There was no sound here but the low hum of the wind and the occasional growing of the ground, as if the planet was protesting its long-forgotten slumber. Whatever had been called this place home was gone, but something else, something far older and darker, seems to linger in the atmosphere, unseen but ever present. The landing site nestled within the crumbling city stood in stark contrast to the ancient stone. The seek lines of the shuttlecraft appeared almost alien amidst the ruins. Its metallic surface gleamed dully under the strange orange skies, yet even the technology of the future seemed fragile against the weight of this place, a place where the past refused to die, and where the air seemed to charge with the forgotten waiting to be remembered.
GM, may I ask a few quick questions?
Certainly.
Because I'm working off of a tablet today. Are we on the surface of the planet and we've taken a shuttlecraft down here? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Who is all with me here? I see Gig, myself, and who else?
I didn't put the captain down, but pretty much everybody. Obviously,
Okay.
your science officer, but currently she's not here. If the captain wishes to be present on the surface, he's more than merry.
That seems like a standard away team that the captain would have sent. Had his interim XO taken away team down.
So is it just Gig and myself, and then the sign? There it is. Yeah, and Vogel. Got it. And there's another planet that's going to collide with this planet, and that's why we're on a timer right now. Correct.
Correct. So you're pretty much collecting as much data as possible while dealing with the quakes before you need to leave.
Solok says, "It is most regrettable that we don't have enough time to fully study and understand this civilization. There is so much here to learn, so much here to explore."
Well, you'll just have to be choosy about what you decide to learn and explore there, Commander. Hell, this place is as desolate as your sense of humor.
Was that a joke, Lieutenant?
Observation, Commander.
A rather infantile one, if I may say so, Lieutenant.
Are you telling me it's not accurate?
Humor and a sense of humor is not critical to our task here, nor is it critical to our duties. Our duties now are to collect as much information as we can about this planet and the civilization before it is destroyed by that right there. And he points up to, we can see it in the sky, right, GM? The planet that's coming towards us?
Very close. Yeah. Like, you can start seeing the fissures of the other world starting to crack, and you feel the ground quake every now and then. You can only assume that the gravity of these two planets are trying to tear each other apart at this point.
So unless you find it humorous and amusing to see two planets collide with you residing on one of those planets, I suggest you focus on your duties, Lieutenant.
No one's gotten shot yet, so I'm doing pretty good. How you doing on that science collecting, Commander?
Is that to me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to double check. I would go much smoother if I did not have to answer infantile questions from Tellarites who seem to think it humorous that planets are about ready to collide. Interesting. There is an energy in this planet that I'd like to look into further. Lieutenant, I also want you to look around in these ruins, see what more you can find here. Vogel, work with him as well. And who's the science officer with us? Is it, what's her name?
You have Sanders and Kira.
Sanders and Kira. Sanders and Kira, spread out. More information about this civilization would be useful. The pillars, perhaps maybe even see if we can try and get some information about their language. Does anyone have any questions?
Commander, can we at least request we stay within reasonable distance from each other in case someone gets hurt?
A very reasonable request, very logical as well. Proceed with your duties. Solok taps his comm badge. Solok to Navajo.
It's the Navajo, Commander. How's it going down there?
We are engaging now in our survey, Captain. We will do regular check-ins in the next few minutes, per your instructions. I understand that we are on a time right now. How much time do we have left before the planet is in danger zone of impact?
The science officer tells me we have... Science tells me we have about 3 hours, Commander.
3 hours. We will endeavor to be very proficient and effective in that period of time, Captain. Do you have any other instructions for us before we begin?
Not at this time. I trust you and the away team to prioritize what's most important. Get as much as you can and get back safely.
We will endeavor to do so. Solok out. Solok is going to do a tricorder roll. You said earlier, GM, that there was an energy sort of pulsating from underneath the ground of the planet. I think you would be very interested to know what that energy is, what kind of energy, and its source.
Okay. As you walk across the barren landscape of this dying world, as you come to one of those fissures, you see this glowing purple sort of light emanating from the ground. Give me a reason plus science, difficulty of 2.
I don't know if I have anything for this because it's studying energy in terms of focuses. And I think I'm just going to roll it. No momentum, but it looks like I was successful.
The energy is kind of strange. It's hard to identify. It almost has mimics something similar to a like neurochemical energy, some sort of potential chemical reaction going on between beneath the planet's surface.
Was I able to determine the source based upon my roll?
It seems like it
Beneath the planet's surface?
beneath the planet's surface is just spread out through the entire planet.
Okay.
Sort of in these sort of ley line type patterns.
Let's Solok's roll. I'll let anyone else want to do a roll if they want to.
Well, Ging, for his part, who is not very sciencey, is kind of trying to keep an eye on folks, make sure they don't fall into a crevice or anything, um, while just kind of taking generic scans of anything he thinks looks important. I think Solak said something about language, and so he's looking for anything that appears to be um, written, any kind of written communication, and just taking scans. They're not actually making any attempts to analyze things because he fears there's not enough time for that, and that's for the science nerds. But he's just going to look for stuff that looks like some sort of symbology and taking recordings of it.
Is there any level of technology on this planet, like destroyed computers or anything?
What you see mostly is stone remnants. You see what appears to be a lot of rust on the ground. Some areas are more built up than others. You can only surmise that some sort of, iron-based technology has, withered away due to, obviously corrosion and whatnot. On the stones themselves, you do see like etchings of what appears to be some sort of ancient language. A lot of it is worn due to essentially the sands of time, as wind and erosion have taken its toll on these monolithic structures.
Gather information about the if you can, about their language, if you can determine if there are any symbols or anything like that in terms of their language.
Are you just like collecting the data, or are you trying to analyze the data?
I think right now what we were ordered to do is collect as much as we can, and we
Okay.
would analyze it later.
Then we'll make this control plus science, difficulty 2, to kind of go around and take samples and pictures, and any like artifacts that you think that are carryable.
Vogel can do that, right? Is Vogel good with that?
I actually have a 4 in science.
There you go. I knew there was a reason
And-
I selected you.
And if we're taking pictures, I have a pastime in photography that might be useful here.
Photographic information would be helpful considering this planet is about to be destroyed.
So what was the roll?
Control science, difficulty 2.
Take one of those threats. Past photography for focus.
Sure, I'll allow it.
Trying to use tricorder, the personal camera, all that fun stuff. Get as many photos of this.
Gain 2 momentum.
I did give you a threat if you wanted to add that.
Yeah, I figured I didn't edit right away. As you go about, you take pictures, and you kind of feel the hair on the back of your neck kind of just stand out, stick up a little bit, like almost getting like the goosebumps.
Test.
Okay, I heard you.
Is Gig assisting?
Yeah, that's kind of what she's
That's
doing.
fine.
Is what I said Gig was doing, so he'll be helping.
Yeah, control science. 1 day, so for the assist.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Gig will try to help.
Gig, do you feel anything strange around here? It's almost like a... Now, it's something around here is making my... It's almost like the hairs on the back of my neck are tingling.
Is that a human thing?
Guess we call it intuition.
You have your intuition in your hair, but I don't see anything other than the shaking of the ground. Like that.
Just keep your eyes peeled and your tricorder on constant scans.
Ensign Vogel, what were your findings? What are your findings so far?
Oh, I was just taking pictures of the stuff.
And what were your findings so far of the pictures? Anything interesting? Is there something wrong, Ensign?
Seeing if there's a response from the GM.
I mean, you just collected this stuff. You would actually have to kind of analyze it. So that was the role, to try to get as much of the available, like big artifact, like presentable artifacts and
Mm.
pictures. So you collected what you saw in your area.
And I'm going to say that Solok saw the two of you talking, and there seemed to be something a bit off about you, Vogel. That's why he's asking this question.
I haven't found anything with the markings themselves, sir. I could run it through a quick translation if you'd like. Maybe it could reveal something, but I know I just keep getting this uneasy feeling.
Uneasy feeling. Please describe. Specify.
I honestly wish I could, Commander.
There's something about the planet that is unsettling to you. Is that correct?
It's not so much. It could be the environment. I don't know. It could be something here. I don't know. There's just this feeling I'm getting.
I have not been able to detect any unstable energy sources such as radiation, though there is an interesting energy source emanating from underneath the planet, some sort of chemical reaction. Perhaps that is the cause of your uneasiness.
It's possible. I don't expect this to have a logical answer.
It does not have a logical answer, but it is worth noting if that makes sense for you.
Did you guys just hear that?
Hear what?
I could have swore I just heard a voice just now.
Scan for life forms.
I'll perform the scan.
Reason plus science, difficulty 0.
There's my reason.
Gain 2 momentum.
It's just a landing party.
Yet you said you heard voices of some kind. Is there anything else that you can provide in terms of information? Were they actual voices? Are you feeling all right?
I feel fine, sir. I'll just continue with the scans.
Very well. Additional information about the planet would be helpful. Soil samples, scans of the atmosphere. Any additional energy signatures around the planet would be helpful as well. And any cultural references, the size of their pillars, the function of any of these altars, anything around us that would be of use, please scan, document, and store.
Aye, sir. GM, as I'm walking around, do I notice if there's any characters or symbols that seem to be repetitive or seemingly important?
Give me reason plus science, difficulty 2.
I'll use a momentum here. Uh-oh. My luck ran out.
As you go about sort of looking around, and you think you might have saw something that might have been a repetitive, some repeated type in the actual structure, like written on the stone structures. As you kind of look at it, a lot of it's so worn that you can't make a positive identification of anything consistent.
So what do you think, Gig? What do you think they use that obelisk for?
Wait, could it be some sort of memorial to a great victory in a war? Or it could just be a street sign.
Could be a memorial to something that happened here too.
Marlowe walks over to the two of you and says, or it could be a warning. Some sort of ancient warning. GM, Solak will do sort of a scan for any signs of technology, anything that looks like or is technical in any way, a computer, circuitry, anything like that.
I think I kind of gave this answer earlier.
Okay.
There really is no sign of technology.
Of technology. Mhm.
Like, if there was technology, it's pretty much dust at this point.
Okay.
That would even happen, like, even in our modern day culture. If the civilization lived, thousands or tens of thousands of years ago, there would be no sign of technology left because it would have all corroded away. But
What about, like, tools and things like that?
you see the remnants of evidence that there was tools, especially in the making of the actual architecture, but you don't really see tools present.
Am I able to see that there's anything that would show signs of, let's say, fire or destruction, bomb craters, that kind of thing?
This could either be, I guess, reason engineering or reason science. Difficulty 2.
I'll do reason engineering. And go ahead and take a momentum. And would you take reverse engineering as a focus?
No.
Okay. I'll roll 3 die then.
As you go and look through the ruins, the pillars seem to have been, a lot of them seem to have been like destroyed due to nature or some sort of cataclysm that happened here. Seems most likely from a natural source. But as you get closer to the big monolith that's in the distance, you do recognize that there seems to be some sort of remnants of maybe a struggle or a fight. There are some instances of almost, as you traverse, with like calcium residue of bone structures that have been sort of wasted away near the monument.
The monolith, because I just can't see the full screen right here. The monolith is there in the sky, or it's in the center. But where's the monolith again?
I don't know if that helps focus it better for you.
It does. It does. So that big, huge structure
Yes.
right there. Thank you.
The monolith is about the only standing structure left, and it seems to be broken and it's slowly decaying in a way. But there is this sort of eerie fissure glow from it.
Can Sanders determine how old the since the model is kind of the thing? Um, how close are we to it? Is it still off in the distance?
It's fairly off in the distance. Narratively, you could say you approach it.
Okay. As we get closer, can Sanders, the xenobiologist, anthropologist, there, can she use her tricorder kind of determine how old it is?
Reason science difficulty 1.
Does this activate Sanders?
Yes. Anytime you make a roll on a character, it activates them.
Yeah, just want to check.
I am waiving the career support for you guys tonight since you're down to 3 players. So
Thank you.
All right. Can she now scan the some of the ruins around so she can get a comparison of how old the monolith is compared to the other ruins? According to these readings, Commander, the monolith and the rest of these ruins are about 100,000 years old.
Interesting. Any additional information that you have on them, Lieutenant?
Well, the moment I was just looking at her age, I wanted to see if perhaps the monolith was older or younger than the surrounding ruins. I think I might attempt to scan since 100,000 years. Probably a lot of debris and dust has settled and then compacted. Maybe if we scan beneath the surface, we might be able to find ruins of structures, houses, buildings, or whatever. I'll see what I can find, and then she will start.
Proceed. Proceed.
reason science difficulty 1, or a momentum spend.
Apparently, she cannot.
As Sanders goes through and makes scans, she finds what looks like almost remnants of maybe more non-stone like structures nearby, but all you can see is maybe the indentation of it. You can't really tell what was built here. It's almost like some sort of great wave fell through this area of the land and took most of any evidence of civilization with it.
I can't find anything, Commander. It's almost like a massive wave of destruction took everything with it.
But it would seem logical to focus our efforts on the structure of some for what we're doing here. The structure seems to have significant importance to what the civilization was, and it is interesting.
No, anthropologically, Commander, I can't evaluate its importance to the community, to the society, but it was built sturdy enough to survive this long.
Surely by its size, it did have some importance of some kind. Most civilizations building large structures would indicate that that large structure has some importance, if not significant importance, to the civilization, and that it survived the destruction. All the more fascinating.
Geek finds what's her name said interesting, and he begins looking to see if perhaps she's right. He'll look for signs of blast pattern. Security guy. That's what he can do.
You guys will see Vogel pull out a tricorder and basically scan very quickly in a circle around here.
What are you scanning for, Ensign?
I keep hearing this voice. I don't know where it's coming from.
Telepathy of some kind? Could some intelligence be trying to communicate with you in a way that we do not understand?
I suppose it's possible, but I'm not a telepath.
Very interesting. Scan for energy signatures. Something that would potentially be able to communicate with you. An energy that is not unknown to us, perhaps.
Jim, I'm going to scan for anything that any anomalous energy reading, something that might be more than just a background.
Give me reason plus science, diff 2.
I'll give you a threat this time. Yeah.
Does the roll stand?
Yeah.
As you start scanning for someone else, your tricorder starts beeping as the ground begins to shake once more. Suddenly, a large fissure opens up near the shuttlecraft, threatening to swallow it or pull it down into the ground. What do you do?
We have to rescue this shuttle.
Yeah, I'm going to start running toward the shuttlecraft and emergency launch it to move it to a safer area.
All right, give me fitness plus security, difficulty 1. That's to get to the shuttle.
Yeah. Would you take fitness con, since I am trying to dodge fissures and opening holes and stuff?
Sure.
Dear God.
As you dive into the shuttlecraft to try and begin, to save it, the shuttle shakes the ground shakes rapidly again as it kind of becomes more and more unstable. When the shuttle falls somewhat, getting wedged into the shuttlecraft, you're pulled down, and as you try to stop yourself from falling into the chasm below, you grab hold of something, but in doing so, you pin your leg, pinning it really bad, almost to the point of nearly breaking.
Is this in the shuttle or?
You're in the shuttle. The shuttle is currently sort of like at almost like nearly a 45-degree angle, probably at a little bit more steep, almost wedged into this fissure in a way. But you are inside of it.
And her leg is pinned somewhere?
No, she's still free to move. It's just that
Okay.
it moved in an awkward fashion that it nearly broke. But it's a minor injury. I'll put it that way. There's no stress being taken. It's just, it's
Okay.
extremely, sore. Yeah.
I'm gonna launch the shuttle.
Daring plus con, difficulty 2.
Take a momentum. Small craft for a focus.
Yes. Oh, I should say
I'm
that
gonna.
you can be assisted by the shuttle's engine's con.
Now, why did that 4 not give me 2 successes? I'm gonna fish out of 16.
Did you select using focus?
I thought I did. Perhaps not. I think that's 4 total.
Okay, 2 momentum. I'm assuming you took a shuttle or one of the runabouts.
With this many people, probably a runabout.
Okay. Well, engine's con from the runabout.
Shuttle.
You're just a complication machine tonight.
Apparently, I love danger.
As you manage to free the shuttle hovering over the ground, more and more fissures begin opening up around the landing site. As you see columns and pillars start falling beneath the surf, or falling into the chasms below that are newly created. It is becoming more and more apparent that there is no safe landing spots anymore at the landing site.
Runabout Wabash to Commander Solak.
Solak here. Are you all right, Ensign?
Just straining myself trying to get to the shuttle and save it. I'm running scans. That area is really starting to stabilize. I don't think that it can support the weight of the runabout anymore.
I would agree with that assessment. Please search out and find a new place, a new location to land the shuttlecraft. Based on these fissures, it would seem that the breakup of the planet is happening much sooner than we expected.
Yeah, I'll continue scanning. I'll try to keep a transporter lock on you in case I need to get you out of there.
Very good. Hold off on transporting right now. We'll continue to get additional information. Logically, I would think that the next step would be for us to get more information about that giant monolith structure there. Are you able to use the runabout's scanners to get additional information about that structure? And GM, I think you said that there's something, the fissure in the middle of it is glowing, I believe? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it has this eerie, glow to it. Doesn't seem natural.
It seems the structure seems to be emanating some sort of power, at least that's what we can see visually. Please run a scan as to what that energy or power is.
On it right away, Commander.
Reason science, difficulty 2, assisted by the runabout sensor science.
And as I scan that, computer, set up a transporter lock of the away team. Initiate on my signal, if needed.
Acknowledged.
Then you said it was reason science.
Yeah, reason science, difficulty 2.
Use a momentum. Did we gain any momentum from the roll?
From the last one, yeah, we gained 2.
So we're at 3. Right,
Yes,
I'll use momentum.
Can you go fishing?
Not with science.
Mm.
As you point the runabout sensors to the monolith, it reads it's just a simple large stone structure. As you try to gauge what if there is sort of any energy source there, the runabout sensors do not pick up anything. It's almost as if it's not even there.
This is strange, Commander. The sensors aren't even recognizing the obelisk. It's almost as if the sensors say it's not there.
You're saying the sensors are not reading anything there at all? Nothing physical at all?
Correct.
No energy signatures of any kind?
I don't know if this is a function of the low resolution of these sensors, but according to these scans, that obelisk does not exist.
Most interesting. Out of character, how would we progress this further? We've done a scan initially of it. We failed the scan. We failed the roll. And there's nothing being listed there. I would think the next course of action would be that we would get closer to it, but I'm not sure how to proceed.
This is really up to you guys. So this is all narrative. Like, you guys can leave if you're happy with what the data you collected. You can leave whenever you want.
Marlo reaches out and lays a hand on the obelisk.
Wasn't it far away?
You can walk up to it.
We can walk up to it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right there? I mean, yeah, like, then we walk up to it and actually try and touch it. Yeah. So I thought it was far away.
Despite the, temperature on the planet's surface, like, it's cool, but not like freezing cold type temperature. But when you touch the obelisk itself, it feels like you're touching a brick of ice. It's very cold to the touch. Almost sends chills down your spine when you touch it.
What keeps doing what, Anson?
I keep hearing a voice.
Do you have an idea of where that voice would be coming from, Ensign? A direction, perhaps?
It did seem to be a little clearer when I got closer to the obelisk.
Have you found a location where you can set the shuttlecraft down? Or the runabout down?
Is there such a spot, GM, or is it a
That's
no?
part of the complication. There's nothing nearby. Like, fissures keep opening up. Ground, like, the ground is becoming more and more unstable. Eventually, you're gonna have to probably leave before I start dropping people into the ground below.
Are you able to
a few kilometers, Commander?
Are you able to move the shuttlecraft closer to the obelisk, so that way you can hear better?
I'm sure I can manage it.
Be very cautious, Ensign.
And Vogel will maneuver closer.
The warning lights come up on your the runabout, stating that you're, hazard too close. Pull up.
I will silence those.
But you don't hear anything.
I swear, Commander, it's like I'm chasing a ghost.
It's possible that you are, but not in the traditional sense. If you are hearing voices, I don't deny that it is actually happening, even though we are not able to explain it. Your sensors on the runabout say that there is nothing here, yet there is something here. And it seems that Specialist Marlowe, when he touches this object, it is cold to the touch. And I guess Solak does the same thing, and he feels the same sensation. GM, it's cold. It's radiating or feeling cold. Correct?
Give me control command difficulty of 2.
Control command. Just gonna roll it.
As you touch it, you in the back of your mind you feel a presence there, almost something like that. It was dark and sinister. As you remove your hand, the feeling goes away.
Most interesting. Ensign, I believe that your instincts or the voice in your head is quite accurate. There is some sort of intelligence trying to communicate with us. And I do not know if it is friendly or not. In fact, I think that it is not friendly at all. It's a shame that we do not have a telepath amongst our landing party, and that I am incapable of telepathy.
Do you think that maybe this is some sort of prison?
It's possible. Or the obelisk itself is a life form, or the remnants of a life form, or an intelligence of some kind that we are unable to directly communicate with unless we touch the object.
Well, sir, since I have access to computers, I'm going to see if I can decipher some of these symbols. Maybe it'll give us a clue of what this was used for.
Proceed. And as I was going to say, as he's doing that, I also turn to Gig and I say, Lieutenant, please touch this object here and tell me if you sense anything.
As Gig walks up to the obelisk, it touches it. It feels cold to the touch. He's like, as he moves down, like, he shrugs. It's just a rock.
Interesting.
You can attempt to do the scan here in the runabout, or the breakdown of the language vocal, or you can do it on the ship. On the runabout, it is gonna be more difficult because it doesn't have access to a larger database. So it's gonna be like reason science difficulty 4, assisted by the runabout's computer science.
Just seeing if I have anything that I can use here. I'll use a momentum 2 threat. I'll give it a shot. What does the shuttle use?
Computer science.
I think that made up for some of your previous rolls.
Right. The computer's having some trouble getting some of the local syntaxes, sir, but what it is able to translate, it's saying it's Valley of the Souls.
That would suggest some sort of religious connotation. Is there anything else that you were able to derive?
The computer's still working. It's going to take a more powerful computer. I think this is it.
Solak is legitimately stumped as to how to proceed. I do sense an intelligence of some kind within this structure, almost as if it's malevolent. I dislike the use of the word evil, but I do not get the sense that this intelligence is pleased that we are here. However, I am at a bit of a loss as to try to determine how we should proceed next. Logically, we should try and find out more about this structure and about the intelligence that is associated with it. And we should do so before any more fissures open up on the planet's surface. I am open to suggestions.
Vogel's in the air and can't contribute much other than support.
I know you're not playing the captain, but do you have any suggestions there, Captain?
Thought about sending those scans to the ship, or asking having the ship scan the monolith. It does have more powerful sensors.
That's a good idea. Who makes that suggestion?
Probably that science officer.
Okay. That is a good suggestion. Ensign Vogel, send our information to the Navajo and ask it to scan this monolithic structure here.
Right away, Commander. Runabout Wabash to Navajo.
Navajo here, Wabash. What kind of progress you making down there?
Well, the ground seems to be coming apart a lot quicker than we anticipated. We had to get the runabout airborne, or risk losing it to an underground fissure. We are having difficulty scanning the obelisk, though, the limitations of the runabout sensors. Commander Solak wanted you to give it a scan, sir.
Stand by one.
And I'm also going to send some of the images of the symbols we received down here. See if we could get some of the science teams to translate it.
That sounds like a plan. We can always pipe it through the universal translator, see what it comes up with. Stand by for that scan. And what the heck? Out of curiosity, the captain will wander over the science station, wondering where his science officer is, and make that attempt to do that himself.
Where's my crew? Where did they go?
As you walk up to the science officer who's on the station, I'm attempting to scan the area. I'm getting a lot of interference. I'm sorry, Captain. I'm not able to get a clear sensor reading over where the landing party is at.
What kind of interference?
Unknown, sir.
Well, we're getting a lot of interference up here. We're not able to punch through. Captain looks at the science officer. Can you route our sensor feed through the shuttle? Maybe we can bypass the interference that way.
It could also be because of the gravitational anomalies that are happening between the two planets.
Entirely possible. Well, I'm not taking the ship down there. Yeah, sorry, Bo. We're not able to get much of a read from up here. But we'll see what the universal translator comes with on those scans you just sent me.
Yeah, the only thing I was able to get was something about the Valley of Souls.
Captain, this is Solak.
Go ahead.
Captain, it's my opinion that this structure down here is associated with an intelligence that is trying to communicate with us in some way. Ensign Vogel claims to hear voices, and I can sense a presence with this particular object when I touch it, which is most interesting and most compelling. I also get the sense that this intelligence is not a friendly intelligence.
Well, best to be on your guard then. There's more out here than what we're aware of.
If we could get some additional information, perhaps, as to what the symbols have here in this Valley of Souls, that would be helpful. Otherwise, I am somewhat at a loss as to proceed.
Well, continue collecting archaeological artifacts for what time we have left. Give me a little while to look at these symbols, see what we can figure out up here.
Acknowledge. So lock out.
Captain will turn his linguistic skill loose on the scans.
We'll come back to that later. But on the planet's surface, as another big quake happens, you hear a loud scream from Kira as she loses her balance and is trying to hold on, trying not to fall into a fissure.
Solak runs to her quickly to assist her.
Fitness security difficulty 2.
Go ahead and take a momentum. Oh, goodness. Is that like the 5th complication we rolled tonight?
Pretty much. As you run over towards where Kira's at, you trip and fall. You narrowly grab her hand before she succumbs from losing her own grip.
But I secure her. She's not going to fall. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
You're currently holding on to her at the moment.
Am I able to pull her to safety?
Yeah. Give me fitness plus security, diff 1.
Okay.
Since she was exploring with the Cation, can Maxine help?
Yeah.
Fitness security difficulty 1. I'll just do the roll. And then I think you were going to assist me.
I'm going to say she's going to try to help. Whoa! She got it.
She got it. I think we got 2 momentum there.
Gain 2 momentum. As you pull up Kira, she seems awkwardly embarrassed. Apologies, Commander. Thank you.
There is no need. There is no need to apologize.
Given how unstable this planet is progressing, perhaps we gather our things and leave.
That would be logical at this point. Ensign Vogel, please beam us up to the runabout.
Understood, Commander. Transporting now. Computer engaged trans.
All right, we're going to do a scene change as the runabout managed to make it back safely to the ship.
You mean to take away a momentum?
Yes.
Okay, I got it. A most interesting situation down there, Captain.
Well, better safe than sorry. What did you manage to bring back?
Well, there was the data that we collected on our tricorders. There's the information that we hope to gain about their language. It's just a pity that I was not able to get more information about that particular obelisk and the intelligence that I believe that is there still. If it is an intelligence for a planet that is about to die, that intelligence would be the last of a potentially dying race. To let it die would be a crime to science.
Depends on the risk level to the ship, Commander.
Of course, sir. It's just a pity.
Well, we put the science team on studying what you did manage to recover. But Vogel, I imagine that this area of space is going to get quite turbulent itself before too long, which back us up enough to a safe distance.
I believe they're AFK. But as you give the order,
Sorry, I didn't know who was in the scene. Vogel will acknowledge.
Commander, do we forget to pay the light bill?
That seemed to be some sort of a power reduction there. Solok checks the engineering panel to see if there was a power fluctuation of some kind.
give me insight plus engineering, difficulty 1.
Would you accept diagnostics as a focus?
Yes. Gain 2. When you look at the diagnostics on the power readings, everything seemed normal.
All readings show normal, Captain, but that was most definitely some sort of power drain, or power spike, or power something.
Science officer, give us a scan the local area, see if there's anything in our immediate vicinity that might explain what we just experienced.
You might need to roll for the science officer, by the way.
Well, whoever's going for the science officer, it's reason plus science difficulty 1, assisted by the ship's sensors plus science.
Complication number 6. This is definitely Halloween themed with all these complications.
Well, you gain a momentum. Captain, I'm not detecting anything that may cause the power surge. However, the gravitational readings are off the chart between both of these planets. There could be potential subspace surges emanating from it that could maybe affect the ship's systems.
That's reasonable. Let's keep an active scan on that. Vogel, why don't you back us off a little more? I don't want to get pulled in here.
Aye, sir. Gonna back up another 50,000 kilometers.
Anything you guys wish to do?
Well, if we're thinking that the gravimetric distortions is what's preventing us from scanning the obelisk, is there a way to adjust the sensors to account for that?
We could compensate using the ship's power, possibly even the impulse engines, channel that to either increase the scan strength or to do so that we can bypass or ignore this interference.
It's a possibility, or kind of like listening to sounds underwater. Perhaps there's a way just to adjust what the sensors are returning to adjust for the interference.
Exactly. Compensating.
The Delta at the science terminal will make an attempt to do that.
This would be a control engineering difficulty 2.
Or
Might I suggest that I do it, sir?
yeah, I'd only said that because I expected it to be a science roll. Go for it, Solak.
Would you accept computers as a focus?
More like sensor operations because you're retuning the sensors.
All right, so sensor, I don't think I have that. I do have reverse engineering, though. Would you accept that?
No.
Okay, go ahead and take a momentum. I will use cautious engineering.
You get the momentum back.
Okay, I think we're still at 4.
Yep. So yeah, pretty much you've created the trait to help bypass the interference. To kind of scan the monolith, it's going to be a reason plus science difficulty 4, assisted by the ship's sensor science.
I was able to bypass, Captain. Zalara, you may proceed with your scan.
Did you said difficulty 4?
Yes.
Okay, well let's suck up 3 of those momentum for 2 extra dice.
You also have the option you can use reserve power to gain an auto success too. Just FYI.
Now we might need that later.
Good God. Our 7th complication.
Ship does roll 2 dice for sensors, so
Yeah, no.
does the roll stand?
We've got no way to re-roll any of that.
She doesn't have anything that allows us to reroll anything?
No, she's a supporting character. She doesn't have a value.
And we can't succeed at cost?
Not on a difficulty 4.
Yeah.
As I'll just kind of say it as her. I'm sorry, Captain. All I'm reading is a large stone structure. I am not detecting anything else.
Well, I think that's more than what you found using the shuttle sensors, isn't it, Vincent Vogel?
Yes, sir. It does seem very similar.
And it is certainly more than what we experienced down there, Captain. When I touched that object, I definitely got the sense that there was an intelligence there.
Now'd be a good time to let's see what the universal translator can come up with, and see what we can come up with on that language.
Sorry, I forgot to put in something. This actually will be an extended task. This is going to be a reason plus science, difficulty 3, work 12, with a resistance of 1. The ship will assist with computer science.
So difficulty 3.
Yes, difficulty 3.
Oh, what the heck? Reason science, but the captain is not good at this.
You can have someone else do it.
Yeah, the science officer could do it.
You take for her. You take meticulous or research as a focus.
I'll take research.
All right. Take momentum and 2 threat. Somebody else want to roll for the ship since I'm rolling for Zalara?
If you could roll for the ship, that'd be great. Also, you got a really great roll there.
You didn't say, yeah, you said computer, so one
Yeah,
die.
computers. So 1 dice. Gain 4 momentum. That's currently 3 work. Do you wish to spend momentum on any more momentum on the roll, or does the roll or the
Oh,
work
I'm
stand?
sorry. Thank you. Yeah, it's a 2-for-1 or a 1-for-1.
It's 2 momentum for 1 work.
Yeah, I'll give you a 2 for 1 more.
All right. As Zeller's kind of working there on the bridge on this, trying to piece together the language that from all the information that was collected on the planet's surface. Lights dim.
Commander Solak.
I cannot explain this, Captain. The only thing I could estimate here would be that there is some sort of energy source that is hitting us that we are unable to detect. It is not a drain of the ship's power. All readings previously showed normal.
Security report.
I don't know what's going on, sir. That should not have gone off.
Well, just in case we're being affected by some sort of outside energy source, tactical, let's go ahead and bring the shields up. Bring us to yellow alert.
Aye, sir.
Lieutenant Zalara, I think we need to figure out what's going on down there.
Yes, sir.
Is it possible to determine if an energy source is emanating from that monolith on the surface of the planet towards the ship?
Sensors are not showing any energy readings emanating from the planet, sir.
Most unusual.
As Zillera keeps continuing working on the language database, she kind of shifts. Like, did it just get cold in here?
Solak checks the temperature on the bridge.
It is the normal temperature.
The temperature reading for the bridge is normal, Zalara. Are you sensing or feeling anything abnormal?
I heard Vogel say something.
Never been to the house.
We just started today.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. All of a sudden,
Because
Vogel,
they were cutting the hour. They were started cutting hours. Because we weren't having lunch.
Vogel, you have
So-
a hot
I
mic.
didn't hear it. Good.
Yeah. So, she says it's not a permanent. But
So Zelera speaks up like, nah.
Might have to mute him.
I did briefly. Zeller kind of is like, no, it's just got the chills all of a sudden, sir. So yeah, if you guys want to continue making the roll, you can go ahead.
Okay, both momentum and a threat for 2 extra dice again.
You gave me a threat, right? Or 2 threat?
I did. Yeah, I spent both momentum and gave you a threat.
Okay. Yeah, ship computer science.
Good job, ship.
Gain 2. It's 3 more work. The difficulty now goes down. Since your first breakthrough, difficulty goes down by 1 for this extended task. As she's comes, I think I got the some rudimentary syntax down with the universal translator, sir. It's still a little bit before I can really decipher this language, or at least partially.
Good work. Keep it up. Tactical. Let's get a just in case. Let's get an internal scan of the ship. Let's make sure we don't have any guess.
Give me reason plus science or medicine, difficulty of 1. Assisted by the ship's sensors plus science.
Oh, that tactical officer's really bad at that. What did you say difficulty was?
Diff 1.
Okay, I'm gonna have Johansson spend a momentum just to get a. Oh, I'm gonna actually give. No, that's not a security roll. I'll spend a momentum for this because she's really bad at this.
Sensor science from the ship.
I'm almost afraid to roll.
Gain a momentum. Captain, I am detecting internal sensors reports along with the comm badges, all personnel accounted for. Nothing. No other life signs detected on board the ship.
What about power sources? You can't account for.
Not detecting anything, sir.
I'll steal a line from Kirk. That's just damn peculiar. All right, so Laura's going to keep working.
Reason science, difficulty 2, assisted by the ship's computer science.
2 momentum for a third die.
It's just a momentum. You get it back, so you're still at 2. I just need the ship.
Hey, no complication. I'm going to call that a success.
Gain another one, so you're at 3 momentum. It's 3 more work. Sir, I definitely have the rudimentary, some rudimentary Vogel's early assessment with what she got definitely tracks that the area is called the Valley of the Souls.
Well, that's a cheerful name.
The syntax, the way it's written, seems like this is more of a negative. It's very peculiar, sir. I'll put it that way. I'll continue on this.
Very good. That matches Commander Solek's feeling of evil.
Feeling, sir.
Let's have her keep working.
I stepped away for a quick second. What were the results that she had? I missed that. I'm sorry.
She was just able to verify Vogel's translation of Valley of the Souls.
Mm-hmm. And that was it?
That, and it seems like that's a negative connotation. Other than that, that's it.
Got it.
How much is left on the work track?
2.
Okay, so still difficulty 3, yeah?
No, it's difficulty 2.
My brain and my mouth are not communicating with each other. This seems quite well. Go ahead and take both momentum and a threat for 3 dice. See if we can knock this thing out of the park here.
Get 2 back. That completes their work track. Captain, this whatever the monolith appears to be some sort of religious tone, given some of the fragments of what was found. Though it's kind of seems like this is more for religious tone for souls of the damned.
Damn for what?
Unclear. There's just not enough of the or what was left there to really decipher what's anything else. Sorry, sir.
You did your best, Lieutenant. You gave us that much.
It doesn't indicate some relevance that this area should be avoided. I get connotations that computer believes that there are warning signs. But it doesn't understand what the warning is about.
Well, that gives us more to go on than what we had before.
Very strange, Captain. It's almost as if it's out of one of your spooky novels that you humans tend to enjoy.
Perhaps.
All of the symbols and signs are there. Fluctuations in temperature, lights turning on and off, all consistent with the themes and I guess what's the word I'm trying to think of out of character. Themes and tropes that are consistent in such stories.
So you're saying the planet's haunted, and you brought a ghost back?
I'm not saying that at all, Captain. I'm just saying that the correlations are interesting. I believe that there is an intelligence down there. Whether or not it is supernatural or not, that is undetermined at this time. I do, however, think that there is some kind of correlation between the intelligence that we felt down there and the phenomenon that we are experiencing up here. I think that is only logical. What that is and how it can be explained is I am unable to do so at this time.
Well, given as I just heard that voice again, I would say it's closer.
Are you able to discern what the voice is saying to you, Ensign?
No, it just sounds like noise, like garbled noise.
You're saying that it's closer now that you're on the ship?
Well, I'm saying I still hear it.
Is it louder or more intense than what you heard on the planet?
Roughly the same.
Apparently, this voice wants to speak to you, since no one else seems to be able to hear it.
Well, you felt it.
I felt something or sensed something when I touched the obelisk. I do not hear voices now, Captain.
Just the same, let's have the two of you report to sickbay and see if there's any change in your brainwave patterns.
Very well, Captain. And I go to sickbay. I wait for Vogel to join me.
Yeah, she'll head there. She probably should get her leg looked at too.
All right, I'll be the doctor here, and she says, "All right, Vogel, what can I do for you?"
Well, when I was on the planet, I seemed to have smashed my leg between a few rocks and the shuttle. So I think I tweaked my knee a little bit, and also I seem to be hearing voices.
Hearing voices? What? Are you having some kind of psychological episode? And Solak speaks up and says, "It is not an episode, Doctor. I believe that Ensign Vogel is in communication with a life form down on the planet that seems to be trying to communicate with her. I also have experienced some indications from this life form, a sensation or something in my mind. The captain thought it would be logical for us to report to you here in sickbay for you to check our brain waves to see if we're experiencing any abnormalities. And while you are doing so, you can assist Ensign Vogel with her leg injury." And the doctor says, "All right, both of you on the medical beds immediately." If someone could move my token, I would appreciate it. The doctor says, "Okay, we'll see if you're both going crazy or not. Vogel, if you are, it's clearly a sign that you are working too much and that you need a vacation, which I have been telling you about now for the past, how long has it been? I think it's been for the past 4 weeks, right? 4 weeks? Yeah, it's been 4 weeks.
I swear, Doctor, I take time off for myself."
Yeah, I don't know if I fully believe you or not, but let's look at these readings right now. And GM, do you need me to do a roll?
No, there is,
Okay.
other than, Vogel, like, there's some inflammation around her knee. And obviously, her uniform's a little torn from it. But the two are in perfect health.
Your brain functions look normal. Your bodily functions look normal, especially for humans and for Vulcans. Your pulse, Commander Solak, is practically non-existent. Aside from a change of pants, Vogel, and a little bit of anti-inflammatory. Nurse, hand me the anti-inflammatory. Thank you. And she applies it to Vogel's leg. I'd say that you are in good working order and can return to duty. Now, did the captain send you down here to waste my time like this, or is there some other reason why I should be speaking to you? Solak just sort of looks over at Vogel.
Just covering all the bases, Doctor.
What can you tell me about these voices in your head? Are they actual voices?
Vigo is thrown across around the room and screams violently as he is verbally shaken suddenly.
Vigo! And the doctor runs over to Vigo to see if Vigo is okay. Vigo, are you all right?
As he's panting really heavily, something just grabbed me. I can't explain this. As his skin is pale and white.
The doctor taps on her comm. Whitman to captain, security alert.
Doctor, details.
Captain, some sort of force in the sickbay here threw one of my nurses clear across the room, and he's gone white right now. Some kind of force, he says. I saw it with my own eyes, as did Commander Solak and Ensign Vogel. By the way, Vogel and Solak check out fine, no issues with them. But definitely something on board the ship caused this incident to occur, sir.
Very good. Well, since you're there near the phenomenon, see if you can get some scans.
Acknowledged. She takes out a medical tricorder and tries to scan for a life form.
You only pick up the 4 in there.
Captain, I'm only detecting our life signs in the medical bay here.
What about other forms of energy? Something that the scans don't normally pick up.
Solak stands up and goes to one of the nearby consoles to do an energy scan.
Commander, I think you might be right about it being malevolent. I just heard it laugh.
You heard a voice inside your head laugh?
Yes.
That would indicate that there is some kind of communication going on here. GM, do you need me to do a roll? Does he detect any abnormal energy in this compartment?
Nothing abnormal, no.
There's no abnormal energy here, though we did experience what we experienced. Most interesting. Whitman goes to Vigo and does a scan on Vigo to see if he's okay, if he's like broken anything, or if he's injured in some way.
Reason plus medicine difficulty 2.
Okay. Pull her up real quick. Diagnosis as a focus.
Sure.
And a complication. Number 8. Come on, keep it going. Good grief.
As you scan Vigo, he appears to be normal. However, you notice that his neurochemical or energy in his brain is depleted.
As long as he's not vomiting and his head isn't spinning around. Vigo, get up on the medical bed. Let's get him up on the medical bed immediately. And she starts to do continued medical scans and monitoring of him. So when you said that his what was depleted, his neurons were depleted.
The neurochemical energy that's in your brain it's depleted.
Is he not responding? Is he not like is she saying his name? Is he not responding or anything like that?
He's responding, but he definitely seems very out of it.
Okay. She would know if there's some sort of drug or something like that that would rejuvenate that type of thing, would she not?
There's a tool. There's a can't remember the name. It's they used it in Star Trek 4 with Chekhov to help.
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
the thing. So she gets the 24th century equivalent of that, and she puts it on his head and begins to heal the brain.
Well, it stabilizes energy patterns so that they can return back to normal.
Yeah,
essentially.
And she says that this will stabilize his energy patterns so we can return back to normal. But that was definitely something that we experienced here, and it did cause damage to Vigo here.
Correct.
The doctor looks at Vogel and says, I don't know what to do here. We saw something happen here, but we're not detecting any life forms and there's no abnormal energy here. Are you hearing anything else in your head?
Since the laugh, no.
Are you able to communicate with it, whatever it is? Ask it what it wants.
I get the feeling I'd be speaking to a wall, but
it would at least be something, and so right now we have absolutely nothing to go on.
And Vogel will give out a sigh. Is there anyone else in the room with us?
And the doctor and Solak sort of study you like very closely, Vogel.
And she'll just shake her head. I'm not hearing anything.
Whitman to Captain Perrone.
Go ahead, Doctor.
We're not able to detect any life form or any abnormal energy in sickbay. I've been able to stabilize and correct the brain neurons of Vigo here. He seems to be recovering. Vogel said that she heard something laugh while here when Vigo was attacked. But that's it. That's all we've got here. I've got nothing else to go on.
Have you tried a Ouija board?
Well, hold on.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did. Captain, something just appeared right in front of us and then disappeared again.
Well, somebody scan that spot. See if there's some sort of residual energy there.
Reason plus science, difficulty 2.
Go ahead, Vogel.
I'll use the momentum.
At least it wasn't a complication.
Gain 2.
This time it went the other way.
Finally.
Your tracker picks up a faint energy residue that rapidly dissipates.
There's definitely something here. Very quick energy pattern, then it quickly dissipated.
Were you able to discern what kind of energy, Ensign?
I'll show the results to Solak. Maybe it, just to see if maybe it's something he picked up on the planet, because you were definitely scanning for stuff like that.
Yeah, the only energy that he detected on the planet was that sort of that chemical energy that was underneath the surface.
Do you wish to spend a momentum for more information?
Yes.
It has the same readings.
I'll remove the momentum. Interesting. It has the same readings of the chemical energy that I detected beneath the surface of the planet that was coming up through the fissures. That would seem to indicate that whatever appeared to us here in this sickbay is somehow connected to the planet's surface and to the energy beneath the planet.
I'll adjust the internal sensors to detect that particular chemical energy and see if we can spot it somewhere else on the ship.
That would be logical, Captain. And Whitman says, and can you do it before he starts throwing anybody else around, sir?
So you trying to find it on the ship?
Yeah, now that we have something what to look for, let's look for it.
Insight plus. Actually, no. Let's go control plus science. Difficulty 2. This is by the ship's sensors plus science.
Okay. Difficulty 2, huh?
Are you having the science officer do it, or are you doing it?
Yeah, I'm going to have the science officer do it. Well, I'll just roll it flat since I'm getting 2 dice from the ship, too. That's 1. There we go.
Gain a momentum?
Yes. I'll say it send it to the captain.
I think it's the first time we've actually been successful in scanning this thing. Every other time we tried to scan it, it's been a complication or we failed, or both.
Solak, science reports deck 10 outside of 10 forward.
You are detecting something at that location, Captain?
Yes.
On my way. Vogel with me.
And Vogel will go with.
And Solok says security to that location immediately.
On my way, Captain. Commander.
Whomever.
You had to pull the whole, who is this?
What's your operating number?
That's a boring conversation anyway.
Vogel, if you can, move my token as well. I'll just go with you. And do we see anything here? Ugh.
There.
as Ensign Price walks up to Max Sanders, trying to check her vitals as she just was jolted across the deck plating.
Solok runs to her and asks her and checks her to see if she's all right.
As she starts to speak, she starts speaking in gibberish. Her complexion is turned to a ghost white.
Solok to sickbay, and Whitman answers. Whitman here. Solok says, "I have found. What's her rank? What's her rank? Sanders is her name.
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Sanders here is experiencing some sort of episode not too dissimilar from what the nurse experienced in sickbay, though this time she is speaking to me in some sort of gibberish or a language that I cannot understand." And Whitman says, "On my way," and she's running there now as well. And Whitman runs up to Sanders and scans her to see if she's all right.
It's the same as earlier, except it's worse.
Mm.
Like her neurochemical patterns are more severely depleted than what it was with Vigo.
Okay. Whitman would then do the lights go out, by the way? And is that what happened?
The lights dimmed and it appeared. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just seeing black right now. That's all what I'm seeing on the screen. Whitman then clicks her communicator and says, "Emergency medical beam to sickbay." It would be herself and Sanders.
Kid comes out of the transport room. Where is it?
Just missed it.
What it looked like?
Looked kind of humanoid. Looked black in color.
Indeed, it did not look human in the sense, but it was humanoid. It was energy. It was able to appear and disappear seemingly at will. We were able to get a reading, and it is able to, in some way, attack or use some energy or force to harm us. It seems to appear, it appears to harm our neural pathways in some way. That is what happened to the nurse in sickbay and what happened to Lieutenant Sanders here in this section of the ship. Ensign Vogel, any voices that you can hear or detect?
Not since it appeared.
Are we able to track its movements within the ship? Clearly it is here, and it is an intruder. Its energy signature, for example. If it's able to appear and disappear, it would have to leave a trail of some kind. It is only logical.
Oh no, were you able to get a better scan of it this time?
So you guys could track it now at this point. You just did tell me where, if you're looking for it or not. But to kind of speed things along here, obviously I'm sure you guys want to probably try to come up with a way to get it off the ship, I assume.
That would be logical, yes.
Well, I don't want to sign quarters.
It's clearly a threat. While it would be interesting to study this anomaly or this intelligence in some way, it is clearly a threat to the crew and to the ship, and it must be dispelled.
Well, can we come up with a way? If you know what kind of energy it is, can we come up with a way to invent an adaptation to the force fields?
Energies always emit a specific charge. It is possible to create a negative charge that might dispel it or repel it from the ship. We could use the deflector dish, or we could use the shields themselves as a way of doing that. The shields repel objects, or the deflector dish might be a more logical way of handling this.
It seems like it's already in the ship. A little late for shields. What about internal force fields? If we could just figure out where it's going to be next and use the internal force fields to contain it.
A very interesting and very compelling idea. I think that there is something that we can work with that. Ensign Vogel, please assist me. And Solak goes to the nearest panel and then begins to calculate how he can perform that while also contacting his engineering team.
Guess the big question is, what do we do with it if we're able to capture it?
I think what we are trying to do at this point is not capture it, but repel it from the ship. Do you have a suggestion on how we could capture something that is energy that can appear and disappear at will?
Isn't that what Gig said, that try to trap it?
Oh, within an internal force field.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, where would we activate such a force field?
Well,
Are we?
if you can figure out what frequency to set the force field to keep it contained, the next time it appears, we can drop internal force fields around it, and then maybe you can design some sort of containment unit to put it into once we capture it.
We'd have to be able to track it and anticipate its next move. Since we are able to discern where it is, I guess the GM, I'll ask you, where are we anticipating it to appear next, since we can track it now?
Computer says it's still on deck 10.
So it's still here within us right now.
It's somewhere on deck 10, not in this particular spot.
Then what we could do is I could create a force field to trap that particular type of energy on deck 10. Basically, that's the trap that we spring. Anything that is that particular type of energy would be contained within a force field.
Yeah, well, we got security force fields at various junctions around the ship, so we can contain it to us. Once we figure out where the next time it appears, you can design the force field. The next time it appears, we can drop security force fields at the junctions near it.
We know it is on deck 10 right now. We could activate a security force field so that way anything that is the signature of that energy would immediately be trapped within the force field. Anything that is not that energy would not be within a force field.
Right, but deck 10's a little big. So, maybe we make sure it stays on deck 10, but then we need to contain it, so we need to find a smaller place for it.
Would we be able to activate all security force fields on deck 10? So that all of them simultaneously would be able to entrap something that is that energy signature?
I suppose we could configure all the internal security force fields for that, but we need to make those. I need some help making those adjustments to the force fields.
Fortunately, I am the chief engineer, and I can assist you in such endeavors.
Give me a control plus security difficulty of 4.
And can I assist him with engineering?
Yeah, I'll say control engineering.
Control engineering. Okay.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to spend Gig's determination towards the value. My friends are too ugly to die.
That's great.
I'll accept it.
Thank you. That's awesome. I didn't know that was his value.
I want to hurry. It's making noise again.
2 momentum and a threat for 2 extra dice.
Get one back.
And Solok will roll. Get 2 back, right? There we go.
Yeah. As you do that, you hear a loud scream.
Are we able to discern where that entity is now that we've got it trapped? Or we think we have it trapped?
Where I'm painting.
Vogel will start heading toward the screen.
And Solok will go with.
So will Gig. Giggity.
You see Moskol and then the entity currently batting against the force field.
Most interesting. I believe this is your ghost, Ensign Vogel.
Hey, it worked.
Of course it worked. It was logically derived and logically implemented.
Vogel's going to drag Madza back toward the door. Or is she able to walk?
She's able to walk. She just screamed because she was startled by it. She's like, what is that thing? It's almost translucent in appearance, in a horrific looking appearance.
It is a life form of some kind, most likely derived from the planet below.
That's lovely.
Solok to Captain Perone.
Go ahead.
We have contained the intruder on Deck 10 within a force field.
Well, have you attempted to communicate with it?
Not as yet, but we plan to do so. The life form seems to be energy of some kind, and does not seem to be particularly happy about the fact that we have captured it.
Would you be?
I would not be happy nor sad, Captain. I would simply accept the logic of the situation.
Forgive me for a moment. I forgot who I was talking to there. Now, see if we can establish communication, but at the same time, let's figure out a more permanent way to contain whatever it is, in case we need to remove it from our ship.
It's a really good question. How would we move this?
That's the question I brought up earlier.
Yeah.
He's like,
Stand by.
design
Stand by.
a containment device based on the same frequency that we use to trap it, and then maybe use the transporters to transport it in the containment device, put it in a photon torpedo, and launch it into the sun.
Is that what Gig says?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought the captain was saying that. Sorry. It's like, wow, the captain went in a totally different direction than I thought. I don't know if it's logical to launch a life form that might be from a dying world into the sun as yet, though it is clear that the life form is malevolent and hostile in some way. My engineering team can put together such a device that you are talking about. It can have the force field component there with the energy signature, and then we can contain the entity in the brig. Would that satisfy you?
As long as it's not a threat to the ship, Commander.
And Solok contacts his engineering team and asks them to put together and construct such a device and bring it up to Deck 10 as soon as possible.
But in the meantime, I think the captain wants you to talk to them.
Solok looks at Ensign Vogel and says, Ensign Vogel, since this entity seemed to be communicating with you in some way, you are the most logical person to attempt to communicate with it right now.
Suppose I could try, but not able to make out what it's trying to say.
We were able to glean something of their language from our translations earlier. We could hook it into the universal translator and attempt to communicate.
That seems like a good idea.
Technically, everyone should be hearing the sounds. Just FYI, not
Okay.
just Vogel. So it's probably an audio issue on you guys' end. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Then Solok will just say, we are representatives of the United Federation of Planets. I am Solok. This is Ensign Vogel, and this is Security Officer Gig Kraktanish. Who are you?
Feed me.
It sounds like you are hungry or seeking nourishment of some kind. What is it that you wish to be fed?
It reaches out in its ghostly hand and points to all of you.
You wish to feast on us. Is that what you are attempting to tell us?
Feed me.
We are unable to feed you what you seek at this time. Is there something else that you could that could assist you?
More. I want more.
Solok turns to Vogel. It seems that the entity is hungry in some way. Based on my assessment, I would think that it seems to thrive or consume energy of some kind.
Like the neural energy of our crewmates?
Correct. The neural energy within a brain of some kind. It might be possible for us to simulate that and to provide for it the energy that it is looking for. That way it is not harming anyone.
Do we really want to make it stronger, Commander?
It might not be necessarily making it stronger. It might be needed in order for it to sustain life. And Solok walks up to the entity and says, if we are able to feed you in some way, what is it that you plan to do if we were to release you?
Devour.
Are you aware that your planet is about to be destroyed, and that all existence on that planet will be completely wiped away, including the obelisk that is there, and the Valley of Souls?
Feed me.
It seems all this creature wishes to do is consume and feed.
Can't forget
Solok
devour.
and devour. Solok to Captain Perron.
Go ahead.
This life form seems to feed on neural energy from brainwaves. It is possible that we are able to simulate this and give this entity what it is looking for, which is why it seemed to be attacking members of our crew. But as we try to communicate with this entity, all it seems to want to do is feed and devour, as it says.
What's your impression of the being? It sounds pretty hostile to me.
The being is extremely hostile. However, the being is also the last life form of a dead civilization. Scientifically, it would be logical for us to retain this entity so that we could study it further. However, the entity is a clear threat to the ship, sir. It is your decision.
I can't have a clear threat to the safety of the crew on board, Commander. Can you contain it somehow?
It is currently contained, Captain, though it is unclear how long this containment will last. We have created a force field that is able to contain its specific kind of energy. But this being is resourceful and is able to appear and disappear at will so long as this force field is containing it. So long as it is aboard the ship, even contained, it is a risk, Captain.
Then find some way to find a portable containment device and let's get it off the ship.
We are able to, the engineering crew is able to create a portable device, and we would be able to, I guess, and he looks at Gig and say, place it within some sort of torpedo and eject it from the ship using the photon torpedo bank.
Let's return it. Let's send it home then.
Out of character, it sounds very much like we're creating a containment device from Ghostbusters, and that we're sucking it into that containment device, putting it into a photon torpedo, and ejecting it into space.
Let's just make this a control engineering difficulty 4 test to do that. So,
okay, control engineering difficulty 4. I am going to use my determination. Logic is the foundation of every solution.
I mean, I would probably take mission directive.
Okay, then mission directive too.
Yeah, duty to ship and crew. So.
Okay. And then, so that will give me the determination. And then I guess, what do you guys suggest? Should I get 2 more die?
My normal habit is always have 1 more die than the difficulty.
Okay, so I would have the 2, so 4 die total, with one of them being the determination.
So you're rolling total 4 dice. So that's 3 momentum. You click the determination, spend on the sheet, and then roll 3 dice.
Yeah, that's what I will do. What I will do. And would you accept reverse engineering as a focus?
You're not really reverse. You're making something. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. So rolling 4 die, but also clicking use determination.
When you perform the task, you click using determination, and then you just click on number dice 3
value.
Yeah.
So 3 die total.
Yeah,
okay.
It'll roll 4 dice on the actual thing, but
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Nice.
Gain 2. You create the device. You managed as before you let the force field down to essentially place it in the Ghostbuster trap, because this is what this is. The trap lets out like an energy pulse, sucks the into the inn, and you manage to take it over to Gig runs it to the torpedo launch bay, and you're able to launch it out of the ship. Johansson goes, ready to fire.
Let's send this thing home. Target the torpedo for a soft landing on its home world. I don't want that torpedo breaking up and damaging that containment device until we can be long gone.
Understood, sir. And she launches the torpedo, and as it guides towards the planet's surface, you see from the actual planet this glowing purple mist rise up from it, reach out and grab a hold of the rogue planet and begin just dismantling it as the ship moves away.
So the other planet is dismantling the rogue planet that's going to hit it?
Yeah.
So it like is destroying it before it hits the planet.
Yes.
And
Solak looks at this and says, absolutely fascinating.
Ensign Vogel, let's get out of here. And while we're at it, before we leave, let's leave a warning beacon buoy at the edge of the system. Let's warn other ships to stay out of this system. I'd hate to see that happen to somebody's ship.
Setting course away, sir.
Warning buoy launched. As I'm assuming the Navajo warps out.
Yeah.
That's the wrong one. And with that, I think we'll end Beyond the Grave of Stars.